morning, everybody. This is Bernie from Taronga Wellness Clinic Stampin' Eat on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. And I am going to do something really simple this morning. I want to just show you that our gorgeous paper from Stampin' Up does not always necessarily have to be turned into a card. I have made these stunning bookmarks for a retreat that I am planning with the gorgeous Jackie from Thrive Business Consulting in November, and we are going to be handing out some bookmarks as personal invitations. So I thought, why don't I show the people, the lovely people that watch my channel, just what you can do with some of our stunning paper. And you will see this is going to take probably 10 minutes at the most. So this one features the green paper, and I'll show you what it looks like in the whole. And what I've got here is I've got one without a gold trim on the side, and then I've got one with the gold trim. So if I put them together, you can have a look and see what it looks like. Then I've also used some with the pink. Again, I've got one without, and just look at how beautiful that looks. Or I've added the gold trim. So now you might be wondering, well, what do these papers look like? So these are the expression and ink papers. I've already started cutting some of this for the bookmarks, and so there's the alcohol ink look that we're working with. And here's a beautiful full sheet of pink that I'll be cutting up to make some more. And the gold trim I have taken from the gold stripes that actually come in the DSP pack. And I have literally just trimmed off each of those little gold stripes to create that natural distressed border that you can see over there. So it couldn't be more simplistic. I've also used, just so that I can show you, I've used the meant to be, the sentiment over there just for you. The reason I've chosen that sentiment, and I don't remember if this stamp set is still in the catalogue, is because these are individual invitations that we're giving, and I've also used the stitch shape, the oval, the second largest oval one in my die and cut and emboss machine. Thick basic white cardstock for the base. Now I have used, in order to punch the edges around, I have used another brand punch to do that. However, you can get a punch that does that for Stampin' Up, and I will link that in the recipe card for you on my website if you want to know. I've also used just normal white ribbon. So this is the crinkled seam binding ribbon over there, and I've used some of the gold trim. Again, this is in our annual catalogue. So let's get started. So cut using your Whisper White thick cardstock. I've cut this measurement to be 6 inches by 2.5 inches, and you get around 5 to 6 bookmarks out of this from one piece. Now, just want to bring my paper trim over here. I'm going to do one using the gold just to show you how easy it is. So because the gold strips, if you have a look at them, you can see the gold strips. Some of them are wide, some of them are narrow. So this is going to really be a case of lining up your paper cutter right up next to the gold trim, like I've got over here. Then you'll need to just cut off the white and then recut the next piece of gold. Because the sizes vary, what I have been doing is I have been gluing them onto either side of my cardstock using my Tombow, and I've been gluing at the base of my of the gold strip, not on the cardstock, because it's quite narrow. I'm also just using my silicone sheet to do that so that I don't get any glue on the glue onto my mat that I'm using. And it does get a little bit icky, so I'm just going to, oops, oh my gosh. So line it up. Now you might find that the gold trim is just that little bit longer than the cardstock. In this case it is very minimal, so you can just trim that off with using your paper trimmer and your scissors. Alright, and then we'll just replicate that with the other gold strip. So just glue that on, just put a little bit of Tombow onto the back of that. So like I was saying, because these gold trim strips are different widths, each of them, you will need to first do this and then figure out how you want to place your expression of ink on it. You might want to butt it up that it matches exactly in there, or you may want to take it over a little bit. So on this case, just make sure they all nicely butted up, and again I've just got a minimal needing to. So I'm going to measure this with my ruler. Let's have a look how much we've got. We've got inches. I have 2 1/4 inches that I need to trim. So that's 2 1/4 by 6 of the expressions in ink paper. 2 1/4 by 6. So I'm going to take that across 2 1/4. So I want the white to be the one that I cut off. So I'm going to take it to the 6, just trim off what I don't need of the white so that I don't lose the pattern. And let's just check that this is going to fit in. Beautiful. So now I can glue that down, and I'm going to glue it. I'm going to put my glue, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to put mine on the, just make sure you also put it on right up against the gold so that there are no bits that flap loose. Right, so now it's just a question of, again, I'm just hoping you can see that in the camera. Again, like I said in my previous videos, I record these early in the morning because it takes a lot of hours to edit, upload, and get everything done. So I start this process early in the morning, and because the window faces east, it's really bright. I can't always see my screen. Okay, so as you can see there's very minimal that we'll trim. So I'll just, being the perfectionist that I am, I'll just trim that off ever so slightly. Just want to make sure you don't get glue on these scissors either, otherwise they get really tacky. Cool. Liking that. So I'm now going to punch it. So don't punch your corners until you've put all your papers on. So like I said, I'm just using a keepsake memory, creative memory one, I think it's called. I just have it, so there's no point in throwing it away when you've got something that's perfectly fine. But there is one in the annual catalogue, and I will list that, as I've already mentioned. So I've got my corners all beautifully rounded. Now I'm going to use a retired die set, the chalk dies, to create my little tag. You can see if I'm not sure if it's going to work. Let's have a quick look. You could try using the tailor-made tags. I don't think they will work though, because they've got that little hole inserted there. But yeah, just see what you've got to create this little hole for your linen thread, or not linen thread, for your ribbon. And I'm just going to put it through my little mini cut and emboss machine. So what I've done is also I've labelled the top plate so that I know which one needs to be used. And I'm just going to put that through. Put that in the middle of your, where you want it. I keep checking that this video is recording. 2 weeks ago when I did my recording, my phone kept playing. Oops. You know what? I'm going to put this down with washi tape, with a Post-it. I had an epic fail last time with recording because my phone was saving it onto the internal drive and not onto my SD card, and it was just technical dramas that were real first world problems in the greater scheme of things. Just first world problems. Okay, so I'm going, oh, come on, let's go. Why is this not going through? Let's try this again. Oh, it's really struggling. Why is this not wanting to go through? Strange. There we go. I read somewhere in the last week or so with these little mini ones that you actually want to not have the plates like you ordinarily would have the plates on top of each other. It would seem that this little mini one seems to do better when the plates are not completely on top of each other. So it's just a little bit of information there for you that may help if you've got a little mini one. Okay, look at that. We've got a little hole. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to emboss the sentiment just for you. So I'm going to get some scrap white and going to use some Versamark. Before I do that, I'm just going to use a little embossing buddy just to take the static off it. If you don't have that, you can also use a, what do they call those cloths? Oh man, you know the cloths that you use for microfiber cloth, that's the word. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it with Versamark. I am giving myself clearance here because of the, and I've just realized I didn't, oh, it's a rubber stamp, I should be fine. Didn't put my mat underneath. Okay, and I'm going to emboss it with gold embossing powder. Okay. I use a little container like this, and I just scoop it up. I just do it 2 or 3 times. Brilliant. Now I am going to emboss it live, so it's going to be a little bit noisy. Just make sure that you hold your heat tool still over your letters. I really love the gold because it just pops. So when I say still, I don't necessarily mean that you're not going over each letter to make sure that it's getting equal heat, but don't wave it like that. Okay, There we go. Quick and easy. That's what I mean by still. I don't mean, you know, not moving it over the letters. Just don't go ballistic and wave it. Okay, so a little emboss tool, mini one back again. Now I'm going to place, now you'll notice that this die is a little bit narrower. However, it actually is okay because it gives you a trim. So the cutting bit is wider than the stitching, if that makes any sense. So just make sure that you get most of your letters in, and you should be good. Again, plate down. And there we have a beautiful saying, and it's got a little bit of stitching. I'm now going to put some dimensionals on it. 4 should do the trick. And you just place this where you would like it to be. I don't want to lose that gorgeous design, so I'm going to put it just above there. I'm now going to cut 13 centimeters of ribbon. Yes, I have measured it because I'm doing a class in 2 weeks time, and I had to make 15 of these, so I know exactly how much ribbon I'm going to use so that I don't waste. Now what you need to do is you fold your ribbon in half. This one I always remember, I think I always get it wrong. You fold it, both ends, loose ends, through the back in the loop. Let's see if I've got it right. Hi, good, good, good. Because what you want is you don't want the two separate pieces there. You want the join there, if that makes sense. Now this is a personal preference. I like my one ribbon to be shorter than the other, but that is entirely your personal preference. And I also like the edges to be at a mitre. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of this gold thread. I'm going to thread it. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going to thread it through the loop of the white. Just create enough, just make sure you've got enough on your left hand side, because that's going to be where your loop and your tie go. Whoops. I read or watched, actually I watched another demonstrator the other day and I laughed so much. She said anybody that does a live video of making bows deserves a medal. So I thought, okay. Yeah, it is a bit daunting doing bows when you're being watched by people, especially when it's live. Right, now you just cut the trim, and there you go. Cut that one a bit shorter, and there you have a stunning bookmark that I would be absolutely thrilled to get if somebody gave that to me. So that's, yes, it took a bit longer, 15, how long are we? 19 minutes to whip that up, and that would make a beautiful gift for somebody if you just wanted to let them know you were thinking of them. So thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to watch some of my other videos that I've created. And if you're watching this for the first time, I'd love it if you would subscribe and follow me on YouTube. Your support is much appreciated. So until we meet again, this is Bernie from Tauranga Wellness Clinic, Stampin' Eat. And remember, until we meet again, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat. Bye!